Here's a pair of freshwater moray eels, the tiger eels. These are pure freshwater. Some people believe these are brackish. They are not. They're full freshwater. These guys are approaching, the big ones approaching 15 inches. The smaller ones probably 11 or 12. I'm going to give you guys a feeding to show you how good they eat this shrimp. They're really getting wound up. They love to live in their little castles. Let's see what they do here. They eat a ton of it. They eat every bit of it that I throw in there. So let's watch them eat a little bit here. These come from Indonesia. I guess they live in rivers and streams out there, but it sounds like they get about double the size of this large one. I've seen them online, but I have never seen one in person. But cool when they get that big. They do get quarreling every once in a while when they get hungry. That's that big one. He starts picking on the little one a little bit, but as long as I feed them routinely, it's not too bad. I'm also going to show you how, very much like a video I posted the other night about keeping my moray eels, my saltwater moray eels in the tank. You have to do the same thing with these guys. So I'm going to show you the modification I made to this tank as well. And it's a little different because the filter on the back is not a canister, it's a hang on the back filter, and those are just leave inherent holes in the back that are hard to cover and keep the eels in. Plus you have the lid of the hang on the back filter. This big eel, he likes to go up in the filter, not up the tube, but up into the opening that the water comes out. He climbs up in there, and if the lid wasn't fastened on, he'd knock the lid off and he'd go right out the back of the tank and onto the floor. So, like all eels, you gotta protect the tank from allowing them to get out. So, I'm going to show you what I do to these. I've used the same method as I used before with back strips that you can just order off Amazon or eBay. I take the back strips and cut them to the right length I need to run across the back, and then again they go over the back so the back strip cannot be lifted, but the holes that leave around the back hang on the back filter have to be filled in. So I cut the back strips small and silicone them in to the gaps to where there's no way these guys can get out at all. But again, the lid can be removed still for cleaning and whatnot. So after these guys eat them for a minute, I'll show you my method of keeping these guys in. It's a little different. It's a little trickier. You got to really look for the holes, any hole that they can get out of, especially the smaller. These guys were really small when I got them, so it was really a risk they would get out. The smaller ones come in and they're really black. The older ones get this more golden color. This one, now that it's getting bigger, is starting to look like the adult. It's not as black. I mean, it is black, but it's starting to get that gold color to it. And then, like I said, they live together pretty good, other than when they get hungry. I just got to watch that. So here's my top of my tank, and forgive the dust. It's underneath my other tank, and it's a little hard to get to. But as you can see, the front, I don't have to fasten this like the other one. It's just tight fitting. They can't push this one up, and I leave the water level down, as you can see a little bit. So they can't push this up, so I don't feel the need to fasten it like I do the saltwater morays. Are not as big and not as strong. But the back is a problem. Let me show you why. And again, this is not as pretty, but it works just as good. You can see the silicone I used to fasten this piece of back strip. I siliconed it right to here. And again, sorry about the crusties here, but it's silicone onto here. But it still is a little bit flexible to where I thought maybe they could push through. So I use this band on it to keep this pulled tight. And it's tight, they can't get out. I've had this set up for a couple years now, but I have to make sure when I clean the filter that I put this silicone or airline tubing back on that tightens this first part down. The second part, actually more important, is the lid to the hang on the back filter has to be velcroed with the wraparound velcro, and I just tighten it down. Hard to show it, but I just wrap it around and seal it, and so the lid cannot come off. The lid can't come off in any way. So once you get the holes covered, and you can see even places like right here where I thought they could get out, I took pieces of backstrip that were cut specifically to fit in there, and then I siliconed them in. They just silicone on the rim. So this one doesn't look as nice because of the hang on the back, but I hide it under here and no one can see it unless you get under here with the camera, so showing everybody. So it does its job, it holds them in. Again, they've never got out of this tank. They're not even close, but he does get up in this filter, that big one. His tail will be hanging down, and he'll get up in this filter and try to push this lid off. And if that wasn't fastened down with the Velcro, he'd get out in a minute. Then if this little rubber thing was here, because it's not as, I don't want to silicone permanently to this. I want to be able to clean it when I want to. So I put this, again, this blue airline tubing that's, I can tie it like basically a rope, but it stretches so I can pull it down.
Happy fish?